Okay, so Brett Gardner's back. We all know this. My question is, are the Yankees done? And it's interesting, too, because it's been a few days since Gardner signed, and I'm happy overall that he signed back. I mean, it was you kind of saw the writing on the wall that Greg Allen was going to be get the short end of the stick here. And even before that, when they brought in Jay Bruce, the Yankees, and Derek Dietrich for depth, Dietrich had the same versatility that Greg Allen had, and unfortunately for Greg Allen too, he had great speed. He's a really high percentage base stealer, and he played all multiple positions in the outfield. And he had 4 years of control, but he was out of minor league options, which kind of hamstrung the Yankees. So once they brought in Jay Bruce, who has a superior bat, and he's from the left-handed side, and once they brought in Derek Dietrich, which also offers the same versatility that Allen offered, but with also a better bat, you kind of saw the writing on the wall. And then once they brought back Brett Gardner, you knew he was a goner, unfortunately. So wish you luck, Greg Allen. Hopefully you catch on with another team. But it definitely gives the Yankees the OG, the original gangster Yankee, back in the fold for at least this year, potentially 2022. And it gives him that left-handed bat and somebody who can credibly back up all the outfielders. Now, who knows if Jay Bruce or Dietrich make the team, but they have enough depth now to kind of give them options, which is at the very least good. But the question is, are they done now? The only thing that I could see the Yankees doing, and the other cool thing I'll mention about Brett Gardner too, and I want to pair him with Darren O'Day and Justin Wilson. They moved $9 million off the payroll with moving Adam Ottavino's contract. They brought in all three of those guys for half of what Adam Ottavino cost. Okay, they spent maybe $5 million total for 2021 for those guys, leaving the Yankees, still have about $4 to $5 million, or maybe even upwards of $6 million left on the payroll before hitting the $210 million threshold. I can either see two things happening. One, they save the money for the trading deadline to see if they can bring in a starting pitcher, which I still think they're going to investigate anyway. Or, see if they can get Jake Odorizzi, who's still available and on the cheap. And the reason why I mention Odorizzi is because day one of spring training, Clark Schmidt went down already. And he's going to be down for at least a month. And I know it's kind of, he was trying to force four-seam grip, new grip, and making some different pitches, and he injured his flexor. Now, it's not the UCL, which is on the inside of the elbow. The flexor is kind of on the outside of the elbow. So that's good. It's not a Tommy John situation, but he's going to miss at least a month, which is setting the Yankees back. And I've said this repeatedly. The Yankees pitching is fragile. And this goes to show it. Day one, he's already out. Thankfully, they have Ulis Chacin and some of these young guys, but I'm still of the opinion that bringing in another pitcher, if possible, is a good idea, because ramping these guys up, and you would be ramping everybody up, okay? Even Garrett Cole, who threw, 70 innings last year, I don't think it's a wise idea to bring him up to 180, 200 innings. It's not. It's not a wise idea to do it with Domingo Germán either, if he makes it that far. And he didn't throw anything last year. And even if you're going from, not suffering an injury, missing the year, but I can't see a scenario where it's intelligent to have him or Davy Garcia or any of these guys throw more than 120, 130 innings. Jamison Tyone, Corey Kluber. I don't think anybody should throw anymore. If anybody can throw up to upwards of $150, it's Garrett Cole. But I think the preservation of the pitching arms is going to be that much more important, which is why, guys like Domingo Germán or some of these guys who can throw long relief are so important. And I had Davey and I had Clark Schmidt in that situation too, and now it's going to be Ulis Chacin probably. They're going to need that depth. They're going to need these guys who can throw multiple innings, because the starting rotation is so fragile. And again, it stinks, but this happens. And this happens to the Yankees like every year. They have 11 or 12 starters that go in, and they barely make it with half of them throughout the season, which is pure insanity to me. But it just happens with the Yankees. It's like an omen, like a curse. And I hope they break it one of these days. But if there's a chance they can get Jake Odorizzi, who's, he's a number 3, but I would rather have a number 3 who can throw innings every 5th day, even if it's $150. I don't care. We need another guy who can throw $120, $130, $140, $150. We need another guy who can do it. All right, and that's the bottom line. There's no, unless they're trading for Luis Castillo or one of these guys, or Kyle Hendricks, excuse me, from the Cubs. Obviously they're going to be taking on more payroll than they'd like to and put them over the threshold, so they would have to have some offsetting salary to come back in return, but I just don't see it happening now unless something happens by the deadline. But if there's a way to get Jake Odorizzi, and I find it hard to believe because Taijuan Walker signed for 2 years, $20 million, and I can't see Jake Odorizzi getting less than that, so they would have to offset somewhere in another trade. And I just don't know who they would offset. So, is there another starter out there that maybe they can bring in who can just throw reliable innings? Yes. Would he be, Jake Odorizzi? No. But that's what's available right now. And that's why I think they're done on the offensive side. I don't think they're done on the pitching side. I think if they can bring in another guy, and they'll probably bring in somebody, but Odorizzi's available. I would look to see if I can bring him in, period. And he wasn't my first choice in the beginning, but he's still there, and he's reliable. He's not, he's not a big injury risk. So somebody who can give that length to some degree like he can. And again, having him kind of can help him stretch out to a potential 6-man rotation, which would ease the load on everybody from the starting point. So, and allowing them to kind of transition a little bit easier to the bullpen and not overtax the bullpen and not overtax the middle relief guys. So, I see more guys getting opportunities like a Luis Medina or Brooks Kriske, stuff like that. And I see Ulis Chacin probably making it now that Schmidt's out, at least they're early on. So, again, I don't think they're done on the pitching side. I think they're done on the offensive side unless something crazy happens. But, they're in pretty good shape on the offensive side. They have youth, they have versatility, they have, all kinds of different options there. So, I think they're good there. But let me know what you think. If they, do they need to add a piece? What kind of piece? Who? And if it's a trade, what's your trade package? Again, the only trade packages I could see happening at this point would be a Kyle Hendricks and probably packaging him with a Wilson Contreras, in which case you'd have to offload a Gary Sanchez and someone else. But that's just, it's kind of far-fetched at this point. But we'll see. I'm really, really curious to see what's going to happen. So the next couple of weeks are going to be pretty interesting. I mean, their first game is in 2 days, and but they look to be in pretty good shape now. And Brett Gardner does give them some much needed depth, so, and some additional protection and veteran presence. So, and I actually think, there's a chance they might retire his number. And he's been with the Yankees that long. He's going upwards of Don Mattingly levels. I think Mattingly was with them for about 14 years. This will be the 14th year for Brett Gardner, from 2008 to 2021. So, kudos, lifelong Yankee. We don't have a ton of them, but we'll definitely grow to appreciate him, especially when he retires. So, thanks for coming back, Brett, and we hope you have a great year if this is your last year, and hope we finish with a championship. So, I'm going to transition to my next video, which is going to be, well, I'll let you know what it's going to be. I'm going to go over my breakdown, my statistical predictions for the Yankees offense, what I think they're going to do this year if they stay healthy. And then after that, I'll go over the pitching predictions for all the pitchers on the Yankees staff, bullpen and starters, and if everybody stays healthy, what I think they're going to do this year. So be on the lookout for those. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so right now before you leave. Thanks so much for your support. Have a great week. Talk to you next time.